Today we're going to be going over the preview for the Miami Dolphins facing the Raiders. And I tell you what right now, get myself up. Let's not sleep on this game. I know they're in disarray, the Raiders, all of that good stuff, but listen, they're still 5-5. They still have really solid players on this team, and we've kind of had a problem every time we've played the Raiders in the last couple years. So let's not sleep on them. We need to make sure that this game is another game that we win. We're coming off the bye. And we, last year, oh man, I think all of us remember how that went last year, where we came off the bye and we were just flat as the ground itself. We were just flat. We could not do anything. We were playing the Houston game and it just looked different. Like, we just didn't look good. And, fortunately we play a lot lesser teams. We don't start off like we did last year where we had the bye and then, we played 49ers and all that. But, I want to see what this team looks like after this bye. Because, yes, we got a bunch of players back, and we'll go over that. But, like I said, last year, everybody just seemed off a tick after we came out of the bye. And that's what kind of, threw our season away. We are in prime position right now to take this division. We're in prime position to take this division. Buffalo looks all over the place. The Jets obviously are the Jets. The Patriots are not even competing anymore. So it's our division to lose this year. And this is where we need to come out firing. Last year, I don't know what happened. It looked like Tua was off, and it wasn't even like the offense wasn't moving. It's just Tua just seemed really off. And obviously the defense was not great last year either, so that did not help very much. But I need to see what Tua does. But before we get into all that, let's go over the injury report. So we have a pretty decent list. And that list is going to consist of Chase Claypool, Robert Hunt, Robert Jones, Devon Achane, Braxton Berrios, Alec Ingold, Durham Smythe, Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Salvon Ahmed, Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips. Now, what I can tell you is that Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland, unfortunately, Salvon Ahmed, Raheem is probably going to play. Tyreek Hill is probably going to play. Teron Armstead, he's always going to be limited in practice, so he's definitely going to play. Durham Smythe, we'll see what happens, and same for Alec Ingold, and Braxton Berrios might not play either. I'm hearing that Devon Achane might make his debut again, or not. I guess you wouldn't say debut, his re-debut, coming back from the injury, whatever it was, in his knee, whatever issue that he had. It might be his debut against the Oakland Raiders. Now, I wouldn't think that he's going to get a significant amount of carries, but I think he would get a couple just to get him back into game speed. Robert Hunt's probably not going to play, and neither is Robert Jones, obviously. And Chase Claypool underwent a knee surgical procedure. It's not to fix anything. It was more just to get extra scar tissue and things like that out of his kneecap. So he's probably going to be out for a couple weeks as well. Which is kind of nice to see, because it looks like he was harboring some sort of injury for a little while now, and they're allowing him to, do his thing, get it cleared up, and then come back onto the field. And then as for the Oakland Raiders, they also have a decent amount. So Adam Butler, Max Crosby, Divine Diablo, Nate Hobbs, Jacob Johnson, Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Marcus Peters, Amik Robertson, Roderick Teamer, Greg Van Roten, Curtis Bolton. And most of those are probably going to play. I'd even say all the way up to Max Crosby. I'm pretty sure most of them are going to play. Jacob Johnson, just because of the concussion protocol, you don't really know what that's going to go on, and Amik Robertson as well. But most of these players, I believe, are going to play. So what we can kind of consider is we will go into this game coming off the bye. And like I said, I wanted to talk about that because I feel like last year, I'm going to be honest with you, I think Tua really was just, I don't know what went down with him, because it's something to come off rusty, but he came off just like weirdly rusty last year. I don't know what it was, but it was just this strange, like, he was just not there for a little while. I don't really know what happened with that, because we had come off such a good game on the Browns, and it looked like our perfect game. Like, it was such a tease to have the Browns game right before this happened, where we go into this bye and we're like, we played the best game that we possibly could have played this entire year. The running game was good, the offense was good, defense was pretty good. This is right around the time when we had Bradley Chubb coming on, so it looked like everything was up and up. And yeah, it was like the Houston Texans game. It was just this weird feel where, yes, we were scoring because it's a bad team. At that point, I don't even think they won a game yet. But it just looked weird. And then when they had the Tua like bent backwards, like he looked like he was on his heels, and he almost like, I saw that and I was like, take him out. It was just weird. Like, it just looked like a weird game. Like, we didn't look that great, playing them, but kind of had to take Tua out because we scored a lot of points. But it didn't look like efficiently scoring a lot of points. I remember that. And then we went into that next game against the 49ers, and it was just downhill from there. Everything was just downhill from there. So I really want to see what Tua is like this time around. Now, I would say the way that Tua is playing, the injuries, knock on wood, he seemed to gotten better at getting the ball out of his hands, so he's not taking a lot of unnecessary hits, and when he does get hit, he falls correctly. But I do want to see what he's like coming off the bye, because, like I said, we can't have that rustiness like he had last year. These are games that we have to win. We have to win these games, because if we go into the playoffs with home field advantage, it's going to be a different ball game. You understand what I'm saying? Because our road offense is not as good as when we're at home. So having home field advantage would be something that would significantly make us way better. And that is why these games are so important. Yes, of course, the Dallas game and all that, but we need to make sure that we're pulling ahead of Buffalo and that they're fighting for a wild card spot, and that we are the division leader, because then we get that home field advantage type thing, and that will work for us plenty. If you notice that we kind of don't really run very similar plays on the road versus at home, and that's because we can't hear. The crowds are so loud that it's hard to signal at the snap different things. So they can't really do that when they're on the road, and it shows, because the offense is definitely a lot different when we are on the road, because there's so many motions and everything when we're at home, and it seems like teams can't really keep up with us when we're at home. So getting home field advantage is key here, and that also comes with Tua can't crap the bed like he did last year. He can't come out stale. I mean, like I said, I've never seen him like that before, but it was just this weird rust that he had all over him, and he was missing players that were wide open. Like the 49ers game, we could have beat them. We definitely could have. Tyreek Hill and Waddle were getting open. It's just Tua was just missing them really badly. And now, one of the things is that we are getting a lot of our offensive line. Connor Williams not even on the injury report. So Teron Armstead, he is going to be limited every single week. He's just an old geezer, man. He's just up there in age. So that's the way it's going to be with him. He's just going to be limited every single week because we can't overexert him. So the offensive line is back, it's significantly better than it was last year. But like I said, so I guess we'll go into the keys. Number one has to be Tua has to come out better than he was before. Now he's doing great, but it needs to just continue, just consistency. That's the biggest thing that I've seen with Tua, is sometimes his consistency is all over the place. And I understand there's different circumstances, but Tua's consistency, for him to get to that next level, needs to be there, because again, we are getting into the end of November, December, and guess what everybody has to say about Tua in December? That he doesn't perform, that he poops the bed in December. And there's some bit of truth to it. So he needs to come out, and this is that year that you just silence any sort of argument that people have against you. People are going to say things all the time about Tua. I just don't expect that to ever not be the case. The guy is being there are people that are saying that Tua sucks, and he's leading the league in almost every statistical category on his bye. Makes no sense. But again, this is the time where he needs to silence another thing. There's two things that he needs to silence this year. And there's the consistency. He needs to start winning in the later parts of the year, because that's where we failed last year. I think, actually, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I'm almost positive that we might have went into the bye last year with a very similar record. Like maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 5-3. I think we lost to the Bengals. We lost to who else did we lose to? We lost to the Vikings. And we had lost to the Jets. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were almost the same record last year. So this is the key, It's keeping it moving. Keeping this thing moving. Consistent Tua. Just keep on winning, buddy. Just keep on winning. I understand we're going to face the better teams later on, but just keep it moving. Keep consistency. I want to see him coming out, and there's no blip at all. Just completely good to go, because we faced significant defenses, and he did not look like he did against the 49ers last year or against the Chargers. He didn't look like that against any of the teams this year. If I could be completely honest, Buffalo, Philly, and I forgot the other one. Wow, I'm blanking on this. Whatever the other team was, all of them. He looked pretty. Oh, the Chiefs. He didn't look bad. He looked actually like he was on point. It's just the team and everything just was kind of all over the place. So he didn't look bad. He didn't look like those games. So I think that is past it. But we need to have that consistency where it's just we fire on all cylinders and we make sure we just, honestly beat them down. Come out of the bye, establish ourselves as dominant again, because people are talking. People are talking again, and that's what's going to happen. This is the year that you shut everybody up. This is the shut-up year. This is the year that Tua and the Dolphins completely shut people up about whatever they're trying to say. Number 2. Obviously, 2 players that keep in mind, but you need to calm down Davante Adams and calm down Josh Jacobs. That's the only 2 players that you really need to look for. Nobody else really scares me on this team. So and honestly, I would just say take away Davante Adams, Jalen Ramsey right on Davante, good to go, and then just stop Josh Jacobs, and you're going to beat this offense. It's not hard at all. They were struggling throughout the whole entire year with this type of offense, and it's something like that we have to be grateful for, that our offense was had all this hype and it's doing it, and their offense has continually had hype and hasn't done it. But we need to make sure that we contain these people. Davante Adams is going to catch some catches. Josh Jacobs is going to run some runs, but contain them enough to just put our offense back on the field and be able to score enough points to win this game. Now, number 3, and this is going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of the season, and that is going to be Mike McDaniel needs to be better when it comes to play calls. We need to stop with this cutesy stuff. We're facing not horrible teams. Like, this team is 5-5 or 5 and something. They're not bad. They're not a bad team. Actually, I think they're 5-5. They're not a bad team. They're a mediocre team. But these are teams that can turn it on out of nowhere, and then you're just you don't understand what to do. The thing is with Mike McDaniel, what we've seen for a while since he's coached us, is it almost seems like he starts to panic when things are starting to when the pressure is on. And what I mean by panic, it's not like he's freaking out. He's very calm, but he tends to kind of go away from what you would think would be the play calls. Like, for instance, against the Chiefs game, Raheem Mostert ran it great, and then he just had Savon Ahmed do something, and then Tua just threw it the rest of the time. Which I get it, you trust your quarterback, but if Raheem Mostert gets like 40 yards in 2 plays, I think maybe try him again, see if he gets another 20, and you're in the red zone. It just doesn't make any sense. And then on top of that, this is Savon Ahmed, maybe that's another point. This Savon Ahmed thing, it needs to stop. Devon Achane's back. This Savon Ahmed thing needs to end. I'm just tired of seeing him on the field every time he gets the ball. But I digress. He needs to stop getting cute with his play calls. Mike McDaniel needs to make sure that he is calling the right plays and not getting away from the run too much and not getting away from the pass too much, but calling an even game and calling it at the right moments. You understand? And putting your best players in. I'm sorry. Savon Ahmed is a clear favorite. Put your best players in. Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jeff Wilson. Put him in. I don't understand why last game we had Jeff Wilson on the sideline most of the time and Savon. Now, I don't know everything that's going on. I don't know what the injury situation with Jeff Wilson is, but it was just weird to me that Savon Ahmed is playing more than Jeff Wilson and is getting more touches than most of the players on this team. To me, it just seems like a clear favorite, and it's just, and he's in. He is not, he's been on this team for almost 4 years now, and he has just not produced anything. I think it's this time where it's just like, okay, you are either a practice squad backup player. You don't need to see the field unless everybody is, injured. Number 4 is just going to be, don't underestimate this team. Don't underestimate them. Don't underestimate them. Because they have a good defense and they have a pretty decent offense. Even though everything is not coagulating the way that they thought it would, this team has a good defense. It has a good pass rush. And it has a good offense that can turn on it at certain times. It happens. So do not underestimate them, please. We need to make sure, like I said, and we'll conclude this with just we need to make sure. Like I said, I'm just worried about last year with this bye. We came out super rusty, super just out of it. And it was just, I think what might be better is that we lost going into the bye. So, I think when we played this perfect game, we were just on our tippy toes celebrating, going, yes, we're doing it. And I think this year is different. We just lost to the Chiefs. We just, even though we were close, just lost to them. There's a lot we had to work on during the bye. And I think we've worked on it. And I think we're going to come out, and we need to come out firing. We need to put them on their heels, put them on their backs, and get to the next game. Just treat it like a business. Shake their hands. Walk off with that W. That's basically it, baby. That's all you got to do. And let's just make sure we win this game. Make sure everybody is doing their thing, and we'll be good to go. And let's not have any hiccups like we had last year. Let's just keep this thing moving. I want this so bad. I feel like it's right there. I feel like we just have to take care of business, beat those 3 good teams, and we get home field advantage, and it's just going to be a different ball game right at the end of the season. I promise. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy if we get home field advantage. That is so important. It will be a complete difference maker. And that's usually how it goes, man. So, yeah, let's take care of business, man. Hope you all liked this video. Hit that like and subscribe if you liked it. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. And have a great rest of your day, guys. Fins up, baby. Peace.